Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Feyi and I post videos about my life in Canada as a new immigrant and how to get here. Today, we YouTube.
I don't want to have that title.
Queen of Nigerian Canadian YouTube.
I don't want to have that title.
And in fact, I'm very honored to be the first person to actually be interviewing you. Usually, you're the ones doing the interviews, and
Yes.
I think you interviewed me about 2 weeks ago. So now, you're on my hot seat. So welcome, you guys. Welcome, Wolo.
It's good to be on the hot seat today. But don't bombard me with heavy questions, so.
I'll try. You guys start dropping your questions. So just say welcome, Wolo, welcome, Queen.
Yes, so everybody, please, I want to see you guys. I want to
welcome her to the channel. Someone said he's watching live from Germany. Welcome.
Oh, nice.
welcome. Hit the thumbs up button. You guys know how we mark attendance on this channel. Hit the thumbs up button. Let's know you're here. Let's know you're present. Present, ma. How are you guys doing? Hope everyone is good. Wolo, how are you doing?
I am fine. I bless God. I thank God. I am fine.
That's cool.
Although I have been super busy, but somehow I'm managing. I am coping.
I don't even know how you do everything you do, to be honest. But we'll get into it. So do you want to do a quick introduction of yourself? Because most people here probably know you already. At some point, they've come across your videos, they're subscribed to you. But for those that don't know you, do a brief introduction. And today, you guys see, this is not the Wolo that you see on our channel. I will just teach you how to do things. We're getting into the human side. So be prepared. We're getting to know Wolo for her. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. What do I even have to say about myself? I don't have much. I don't have much to say about myself. I'm just, how would I call it, a normal person who loves to research. Like I really love to search for new things, and I'm always on the internet searching for one new thing, learning one new thing, doing a lot of things at the same time. I will call myself a multitasker. I can do 10 things at the same time. Like I am doing one, my brain is doing another one, my hand is doing another one. So I'm like that. So that's me. And because of my love for searching information, I just felt I should start something in the area of talking about what I have discovered. So I love discovering new things. I love learning new things. And there was a time I was spending so much hours on social media, and I felt I needed to make it useful instead of, going from one page to another. So I decided it's better to search for something that is useful, that will be beneficial to me, and maybe beneficial to anybody I know. And it has helped me in such a way that if I'm going to discuss any topic, like I would know something about it. Yeah, I will know something about it instead of just being there and not knowing anything to say about a particular topic. So that's what it has helped me to gain so far because of my love for searching things.
Okay. Yeah. That's really good, and that's a very fantastic quality to have, and that's why it's natural for you with your YouTube channel. You impact so much knowledge. Your YouTube channel name Canada Info Hub. It's been a blessing to a lot of people, so that's a good quality to have. So let's just get right into it. My first question always is, why did you choose to relocate to Canada? Why did you decide to relocate, and why Canada at all?
Okay, so Canada had always been a long-term dream that was just there. It was actually ignited as a result of not being able to go to the US. And after my secondary school, my dad's friend wanted to take me to the US, but it wasn't possible. So that whole thing just, ignited the dream of relocating. And after my university, I subscribed to lots of immigration related forums to learn about Canada and all that. But of course, the money was not there. I just developed the interest, and the money was not there. I wanted to come to school to do my masters, but the money to come to school was not there. I said, okay, let me save some money and see if I can, beef up what I had. I invested in the stock market. I encouraged my mom. Then the stock market in Nigeria was booming. I encouraged my mom to also put her money in the stock market so that we could raise funds for me to come to school in Canada. We put our money. Unfortunately, I was lucky to bring my money out because I was like following the market back to back.
Yeah.
Back to back. I was lucky to pull my funds out, but my mom was too slow to pull her funds out. And my mom had majority of the money I was looking at using. And she lost all that money in the stock market.
Oh.
Yeah, so that was it. So the Canadian dream just, went down the pipeline. And I was just like, okay, well, since there's no money to go to school in Canada, let me just respect myself and stay in Nigeria. And then the dream revived again, but it wasn't for me. It was actually for my sister. I wanted her to come. And we're looking at schools in Memorial University. We were looking at Newfoundland because that was where the cheapest school was, the one with cheapest tuition. So we looked at it, and I communicated with the school on her behalf, and they got back to us. So I was preparing my sister to come because I had a good job. I didn't want to leave my job in the first place, and I wanted her to come. But somehow along the line, of course, Unilag transcript and all that, it was taking time, and she lost out on that. So that was
this Unilag thing no be today.
It's not today, but enough. They came through for me. I was lucky that they came through for me when mine started. So I was just sitting down, bored, because I love to. One thing about me is I easily get bored. That's why I keep myself busy all the time. If I'm just sitting down and not doing anything, it's like you're killing me. I need to be doing something, except I'm sleeping. If I'm not sleeping, I'm doing something. Yeah, so that's me. Okay, so I was just in the office bored, and one of my senior colleagues he just chatted. We had this communicator that we used to communicate with each other in the office, and he was just like, "Come, what are you doing?" I said, "I'm bored. I'm thinking of my next step. I don't know. I'm already bored of this job." And he was like, "He just came. Why are you bored?" I said, "I'm bored." He said, Okay, let me give you an assignment. This is the assignment. I want you to move. You move to Canada. I think your expertise or your knowledge will be needed there." And I'm like, "I'm not going, Jerry. I just got this new job and they were paying so well." And I was like, "There's no point. What am I going to do in Canada? The time for me to go to Canada has passed. Let me just enjoy my life in Nigeria," because of course the money was good.
Well, what's your field?
Okay, human resources.
Okay.
Yeah, human resources, administration, human resources, logistics, supply chain management. I had all this experience because like I said, I easily get bored. And I'm always looking for the next thing to do. I'm always looking for the next step. So he now suggested I should immigrate. I was like, I'm not interested. He forced me. He actually forced me. And because he forced me, I had no choice. And he was the one that paid for the IELTS exam. I had no choice. He paid for the IELTS exam. It was more like forcing me, you must do it. And I didn't want to waste his money. So I went ahead, wrote the IELTS. And that was where the fire just, picked up. I wrote the IELTS and then did my evaluation myself. Unilag came through for me, luckily, because if I was to use my first degree, I don't think I would be in Canada today because that school is an error. But Unilag came through for me. Within 3 months, I was able to get my ECA. And it was during it was federal skilled workers, but when they were doing the paper one, express entry. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Express entry was going to be introduced the next year. So we were
that was 2014.
Yeah, this was 2014. So we were the last set of people to put in our application in 2014. And we had this conversation in August. My evaluation came through in October. I had written IELTS in September because he paid for it in September. I wrote IELTS in September. ECA came October. My application went through November. And there was a cap during that period. There's usually a cap for your occupation. So once your cap is filled, you have to apply again. I was lucky that my application got to Canada first week of December, before the introduction of express entry.
Wow.
Yeah. So
how long did your application take then? Because that's what I want to know. Because I know that a lot of people that applied through the previous stream, when express entry now came January 2015, they're now saying that these people that are just applying are just getting it in a few months.
Yeah.
And we were still waiting in the old stream. So how long did yours take?
It took 1 year and almost 3 months.
Wow.
From not bad. Yeah, from November until February, I would say, 1 year. From December until February 2016. Okay. So 1 year, 2 months, yeah.
Okay, that's not too bad compared to some of the ones I've heard. Like 3 years waiting, and people in express entry have already gotten theirs and even relocated.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's not bad. So that's the route you took, not express entry, was the regular federal skilled worker program that was the paper application. Right. So you landed in Canada, but why Manitoba? Why Winnipeg, Manitoba? let's talk about that, because tell me why.
So you see, the thing is, when the application was going on, I was not bothered about which province to land. The province to land came when they requested for our passports. That was when it dawned on me that I had not chosen a province. I had not chosen a province. And the province, the ideal province I wanted was Alberta and Calgary. Okay. It was the ideal province because I'm from an oil and gas background. My husband also was. Both of us were from the oil and gas background, and we wanted to go to where the oil and gas was, and that's Alberta. But that year was a very horrible year for oil and gas worldwide, and lots of people were losing their jobs. There was just so much uncertainty, and because of that, we couldn't consider. In fact, we didn't even want to come and land. We wanted to land and go back. We just wanted to do a soft landing and then go back. But along the line, plans changed. So Alberta was the ideal province. And then because we saw the market was dying there, we saw that it would be tough to get a job. We saw that opportunities were actually tough for new immigrants. So we said, okay, let's choose another province. And the next one that came to mind was Ontario, because my sister-in-law lives in Ontario. Funny enough, my brother-in-law also lives in Alberta as well. But he was the one that actually told us not to go to Alberta because things were bad.
It was tough.
So the next option was Ontario. My sister-in-law is Ontario. And she also told us that Ontario, she's even in Brampton. She said, "No, you guys don't come. People are oil people. Don't come here. You will not see work." You will not see work. And we never have plan of pivoting. It was not even in, like I said, our plan was not to stay. Our plan was to go back, and then towards when it's like, let's say 2 years to when we'll get our PR will be expiring, that's when we come. That was the original plan. So my sister-in-law said, "Don't come to Ontario. There is no work there. Don't go to a province that is smaller in size, where the opportunities are more and where you easily get a job." And because we had the mind of coming to test the waters, we didn't really, since he's saying Ontario is not too good for us, let's look for another province. So the next thing was Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan was the next province, and my sister's brother-in-law is in Saskatchewan.
You're family everywhere, Canada.
Yeah. So I tried to reach out to that one. He's a medical doctor there. He was very busy. Like, he couldn't get back to us. And even two of my siblings, their in-laws are in Saskatchewan. They are medical doctors in Saskatchewan. Yeah. So I reached out to both of them, and they didn't get back to me. And I'm like, time is going. I need to choose a province. People should answer me. Nobody was answering me. So I said, okay, who else do I know? I now reached out to one of my friend's sister, and she's in Manitoba. I knew when she left for Manitoba. And I reached out to her. I said, I'm stuck. I've been looking for a province to go to. Alberta is nowhere to go. As in, Alberta is a no-go area. Ontario is a no-go area. British Columbia, they told us very expensive. Don't go there. So we are stuck. And the guys in Saskatchewan, they are not responding to us. We need to book tickets. Please tell us. So it was not like, hey, you guys can come. If you like the place, then you stay. Nobody's chasing anybody. Just come. I was like, what's the job market like? He said, don't worry, you will see job. I said, not just see job. What kind of job will I see? He said, you will see job. Don't worry, just come. I said, okay. That was how we now booked our ticket for Manitoba. The plan was not to stay. The plan was to come and then go back. But somehow the plans changed. When we came, the plans changed.
Right. Yeah. So, wow, that's very interesting. So, Manitoba was not even on your top 3.
It was not in the list at all. Never. Even I'm still asking myself, what am I still doing here?
But okay, so you said your plan was to soft land, and I just wanted to elaborate on that a little bit for people that don't understand, because I get people asking a lot of questions, that especially around the fact that they have good jobs in Nigeria, they're not sure whether they want to come to Canada. Like, when you get your PR, it's not by force for you to stay instantly. You can land, go back for 1 or 2 years.
Yeah, and come back.
Make the money you want to make and then come back. Just make sure you meet the requirement for citizenship. So you don't have to move instantly. That's what we call soft landing. You land and you go back after you collect your PR card. Okay. So how long did it actually take for you and your husband to get a job in Manitoba?
For me, it was less than 3 weeks. In fact, I had already started applying for jobs. In fact, that was the major reason why I stayed behind. Because I was like, if I don't get a job within 1 month, I'll go back. But if I get a job, I will stay. That was the plan. So I started applying from Nigeria 2 months prior to leaving Nigeria. And luckily, I was able to get in contact with a Nigerian in Manitoba who is a recruiter. And then she responded. She was like, are you in Canada? I said, no, but I'm planning to land this date. She now responded back to me and said, if you land, let me know when you arrive. Okay. So as soon as I landed, I sent her a message. I am now in Manitoba. She now said, okay. She scheduled an interview for me. And after that interview, I got the job.
Wow.
Yeah. So I got the job. So I was the one that even told her that I can't resume immediately, that I have to like plan, because then, we didn't want to stay. We're like, oh, should we rent? Should we not rent? Should we, sign a lease? Should we, all those things were just like so many things. You come, you have to attend this immigrant, what do you call it now? Immigrant settlement programs that will teach you what life is like in Manitoba, where you can get things from. So all those things were just playing around. I'm like, should we go? Should we not go? Should we go? Should we not go? And then I got the offer. I had to tell her I can't resume immediately. I have to resume in October. We landed 31st of August. I got the offer 2nd week of September. But I told her I can't resume. I have to resume in October, because we needed to put a lot of things in place for me to start working. So that was it for me. For my husband, because his occupation is more on the technical side, he didn't get something immediately. But he got something I started working in October. He started working in December. Okay. So we're able to get something doing by December. And he was supposed to go back, but because he got something, he was like, let me just do this adventure. Let's not go back. And that was how we stayed. Right. And had to start making arrangements concerning our stuff in Nigeria.
I was just about to ask that wait, you didn't even plan to relocate permanently at that time. So no. There's so much that goes into relocating, especially as a family. Me, I relocated as a single lady. So I was just from my father's house. But for you guys that are like families and relocated as families, you guys have your apartments or your houses, furniture, everything. How did you now deal with that?
Well, funny enough, the property back in Nigeria is our property. So it's not like we rented it.
Okay,
so it's still ours, and then we still have a tenant behind who is taking care of the environment. So
you didn't sell any furniture?
No, we didn't sell anything.
So when you go back, you're good. You don't have to.
So we go back, we still have our house there. We still have a tenant there and all that. So yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. So now let's get into like the serious questions. What would you say has been your greatest lesson since you moved to Canada?
My greatest lesson is how will I put it now? Don't take someone smiling as someone who is friendly. Because
Word.
there are lots of people who smile with you and they are doing things behind your back, especially in the office space. In the office space, you have to be very, very careful with people you smile with. And sometimes they don't come to your face to tell you this is what they are doing, but at the end of the day, you get to know that this is what they have done, and you know who did it. Yeah, and they will still smile at you though. So
I thought this was only in Ontario.
eh?
I said I thought this was only in Ontario. I
No,
know they
it's
say
everywhere. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. So somebody can be smiling at you, oh, you're nice, and then laugh at you, and the next thing the person is reporting you, and they're like, I thought this person was my friend. The person is not your friend. Yeah.
the smile is just politeness.
It's just polite. It's just
Nothing more to
politeness.
it. Just
It's
being
just
polite.
politeness. Yes. In my usual free spirit, I'm like, oh, okay, this person, my friend, this person, blah blah blah. But I learned it the very hard way, and I told myself like, once someone starts smiling, I start thinking in my head like, hope this smile is genuine one, not the fake one, not the one that I would be free with you, open up to you at the end of the day. I'm hearing things behind and somebody's stabbing me behind and all that. So I take smile at the surface level. Anybody smiling?
Yeah, and I feel like that's something that would even come to you naturally after a while in Canada,
Yeah.
because you're walking on the street, everyone is smiling at you. You too, at first when you come from either Lagos or Abuja or from Nigeria, you'll be wondering, why are these people smiling? They're so nice, they're so nice. Everyone is smiling at you. Yes, it's good, it's nice, but it's mere politeness. And you now end up starting to just smile like that. So even when I'm walking on the street as well, someone smiles at me, I'm just like, no past 1 second.
We call it plastic smile.
Past 1 second.
Yeah.
Naturally after a while. So you too, you know that okay, yeah, like that's not genuine, like that's just how they are, and that's now I'm part of now that's how we all are.
Yeah.
Just for politeness, just to say, okay, I've acknowledged your presence. Finish.
Yeah.
No be say make you come follow me talk, that kind of thing. But yeah, that's something we get used to. What has been your toughest part about being Nigerian in Canada?
I would say the community. I like to keep my cycle very small. My cycle is a very, very small cycle. Very small cycle. And the reason, and because we are living in a very small province where people know everybody, like this person knows this person, this person knows this person, this person knows this person, it's easy for your story to be out there. It's for them to know your details about your individual life, which brings room for gossip. So it's very difficult to, let's say, even if it is for positive reasons, but not everybody wants their story to be out there.
Yeah.
For instance, you say, okay, this person did a job, went for an interview, didn't get the job, and before you know what's happening, or maybe let me give a typical example. So let's say there's a recruitment exercise that is going on, and the person wasn't successful, and the person told another person that, oh, I was hoping I would get this job and I wasn't successful at it. Before you know what's happening, it goes down, and then you see someone who you tell, so you went for that interview and you were not successful. And you're like, how did this person know that I went for this interview? The person is just asking out the result of curiosity, just to know, okay, what's the process? Like, how did the interview go? What should I prepare for? Out of curiosity. But before you know what's happening, the whole of your story is out there. Everybody knows you did this interview. Everybody knows that you've got a job interview and blah blah blah, stuff like that. So, it's hard. It is okay, but sometimes it is also hard, especially if you want to live a very private life. You don't want your business out there. There are certain things that some people try to, they don't see it as being private. They see it as common, like everybody knows everybody. And of course, they have to know that you did this, especially if you don't want people to know. So, and that is where the idea of people keeping things to themselves comes in. They don't want to tell people about opportunities. They don't want to tell people that these opportunities are there. So you have somebody who is working in one organization and the person doesn't want this other person or want people to know that he or she is working in that organization because apparently he or she doesn't want to have too many of our kind working in that organization. So you have that problem there, yeah. Because you also find this bandwagon mentality that, okay, if this person is working here, this is where I want to go and work. And then they start bombarding the person with too many questions. Oh, can you connect me? Can I have a job there? And if the person is not interested in like letting everybody know this is where I work, it becomes a problem. So you have this cycle that goes around, right? So it's very difficult to an extent within our community, within the Nigerian community. It's very difficult. Where there are people who would want to share information freely and say, oh, there's an opportunity here, there's an opportunity there. If you're interested, apply. If you want a referral, contact me. I can give you a referral. There are some people who are shy in doing that, and that is because of the experiences they must have had. Right? So there was a story I heard of a Nigerian who was trying to help his fellow Nigerians. At the end of the day, it was one Nigerian that reported him, and he lost his job, he lost his position.
What kind of? I never heard this kind of thing before.
So that's why some people are like, instead of me to share this information, let me not bother. Let me just keep it to myself. Instead of me getting into trouble for sharing, I'd rather just be silent. Yeah.
Well, so I mean, a lot of work needs to go into like the Nigerian community and just being there for each other and helping each other and not putting each other in trouble. Like, this is the first time I'm hearing anything like, oh, too many of our kind in the same.
Hey. It is there. It is there.
Wow.
Are you still finding some people who don't want to associate with Nigerians?
Yes, I know.
They are Nigerians and they don't want to associate with fellow Nigerians in the same organization. Yeah. So you find people like that. And you wouldn't blame them. It's because of the experiences they must have had.
Yeah, it's true. Some of them have actually been beaten so bad that it's like, no, they don't want to be. Okay, well, that's interesting. For us here in Ontario, the community isn't that small. It's very, very large, especially because, and this is something I wanted to ask you as well. I know, like, this is Winnipeg, Manitoba, but in Manitoba, are there other cities that people also go to? I know there's Brandon and some other ones, but do immigrants actually go to those other cities that are not, the big city of Winnipeg?
Yes. Yeah. Yes, you'll be surprised. There are Nigerians everywhere, like everywhere. There are smaller communities. There's a community in Thompson, the northern part of Manitoba, where you have lots of indigenous people there. You find Nigerians. There are lots of Nigerians there in Thompson.
Okay.
Yeah. And you also have Steinbach as well. There are Nigerians in Steinbach.
Thompson, Steinbach.
There are smaller communities where you find Nigerians.
Yeah, and are there jobs there? Job opportunities?
There are job opportunities there. It's just a small, maybe 2,000, 3,000. Population is 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. Yes.
That is really small. That's good to know. Yeah. Okay, so you moved here with your family. So I like to hear more about that and just the way you live compared to Nigeria. You said in Nigeria you had a good job anyway. So moving here, you weren't really sure. But what has been that major difference in your way of life in Nigeria compared to Canada?
Okay, the major difference is my health. In Nigeria, I was always falling sick every weekend. I was always in the hospital every weekend because of malaria and typhoid.
I can relate.
I was always it's like I had a permanent bed in the hospital. When I'm coming, they know it's malaria and typhoid. I'm always treating malaria, typhoid. it was horrible.
Mm.
At a point I was like, before this thing will kill me, I need to find a way out around it. And if there is anything I'm grateful for, and apart from that, the air as well, the air, the very fresh air I breathe is very important to me, because
Mm.
the air in Nigeria was just so choked, and
Yeah.
I was having this irritation that I thought I would remove my tonsils. But luckily, by the time I came, I stopped having that irritation because I was breathing fresh, clean air, and I wasn't having this. I wasn't always falling sick all the time again. In fact, I've not fallen sick since I came. So
Mm.
that's the difference between Nigeria and Canada for my health, for the sake of my health. For career wise, it's been how will I call it now? It's been a bumpy ride for career wise. Not really bumpy, like where I would want to be. In terms of jobs, when it comes to jobs, I easily get jobs. That one's not a problem. My challenge is staying somewhere. I don't like being micromanaged. That's my problem. I don't like being micromanaged. I like to be free. I like to have that time to do whatever I want. So, um, what I found out that in most organizations in Canada, you have to work at the time they want you to work. Even if you do your job within 5 minutes, if you're very fast, I'm that fast. If you give me a task, I can complete it within seconds and I'll have nothing to do. So because I'll have nothing to do, I'll use that spare time to start searching for information that I know will be beneficial to me or anything. Like I'm always searching. And once they see me searching, they find it um, as an offense,
Mm.
right? They find it as an offense to be using company time to do other things, whereas I'd already
Mm.
completed my task.
Right.
So I now discover that the there are lots of organizations that micromanage people, and unfortunately, I don't fit into such systems because I like to be free. I don't like to be micromanaged. I don't want you to tell
Yeah.
me do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this,
Mhm.
and you must be on the time. You must be 5 minutes. You take your break 5 minutes. You come back, right?
Yeah.
I like that flexibility in jobs. I don't want to be caged. That's where I sit. So
Yeah.
based on that, I discovered most private organizations are structured in such a way that you have to follow the systems and rules and procedures and everything. And I don't fit into such. So I had to switch to government where I can have the freedom, where
Right.
I can have the absolute freedom, where I will not be so micromanaged, and where I'll have enough time on my hands to do whatever I like.
Mm.
So for career wise, at a point I was thinking of switching because I felt I wasn't getting what I wanted. And that was how this whole YouTube thing started, because the whole YouTube started out of, let me look for something to distract my mind since career is not giving me what I want. And
Mm.
that my consolation was YouTube. And I never wanted to do anything immigration. Never. I never wanted to do immigration. Never. It was never in the plan. I just wanted to do life in Canada, this, that. And then somehow immigration just kept pulling me. And that was how I
Yeah.
went in immigration. Yeah. And then my career switched somehow, or will I say switched? No, it hasn't switched yet.
Not completely yet.
I not completely yet. Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. Actually, I wanted to go back to your point on the health. I mean, sometimes I tell people I've been in Canada 5.5 years now, and I have never had reason to go to the hospital because I was sick.
Mm-hmm.
Never,
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
And we come from a place where every month malaria parasite na permanent in our bloodstream. It's just the level of the of the malaria that
Mm-hmm.
will vary. And and you mentioned reactions. I also used to have allergies
Mm.
every rainy season from like March to like October. My eyes would be itchy, they would be red and swollen, just different things,
Mm.
reactions just to the air, to the environment. And when I got here, and I had permanent runny nose as well. In Nigeria, people know me. When I'm sneezing 20 times at once. They don't even bother saying bless you, or they wait until I finish this. So permanent cold and reactions. And immediately I came to Canada, all of that went away. All of that went away. I literally, all my time in Halifax, Nova Scotia, the only time I went to the hospital was when I escorted someone to go and pull out their tooth. Like I've never really, and then when I went for medicals, for Express Entry, I've never had cause to say, okay, I'm sick, I want to go to the hospital. Never.
Yeah.
So that is something that people need to realize too, that it's more than just, oh, I want to move to Canada for better opportunities.
Exactly.
There's a lot more to it. Even for kids.
Yeah.
For kids, you see kids in hospital, every month they are going to hospital, they are choking their hand for drip. Sometimes they will choke once, they'll say, oh, that's not the right way. They'll choke another one.
Yeah.
It's not, it's not easy. So I wanted to really emphasize on that too, because like the healthcare, and at the end of the day, you go to the hospital, you do what you have to do, you're not paying anything for it.
Exactly. Most times it's not about the money, it's about longevity and access to good healthcare.
Exactly.
So you don't want to stay in an environment where if there's an emergency and they are calling the ambulance, there's no ambulance, of course. And then if somebody is trying to rush you to the hospital, there's one long traffic. Before you know what happens,
Yeah, it's just totally different. That's something people need to think more about.
Exactly.
But I wanted to ask you, have you experienced any form of racism in Winnipeg?
That's what I talked about, the plastic smile. I didn't want to mention the word. That's why I used that word. When someone is smiling at you, just take it on a surface level. Don't interpret it to be too deep. So it happened at my workplace. And I was looking forward to getting a position, but I was sidelined. Yeah. And in fact, before, certain things don't really get to me because I already have this mindset that, of course, it's kind of like anything can happen, right? But that one really hurt me bad. It hurt me really bad because it's like you supervising someone and then them picking the person you're supervising over you. You supervise the person, you reviewed the person's work, you corrected the person, you made sure the person is doing the right thing. You've been in the system, and then the person just came all of a sudden, and then the person is going above you to be above you. That it was really bad. But of course, I confronted them, and then I also talked to a much elderly person. He's been here for quite a long time, and he told me that there are certain things you don't fight, especially if you know where you're going to. You just let certain things slide. It was a long talk. He was telling me not to really go. I really wanted to go like all out, all out confrontation, and he was like, "Take, just let it go, because you don't know where you will need these people at the end of the day. So just let it go." It was very difficult. It was really difficult for me to let it go. But I had to let it go. But when I think about it this time around, I'm like, at the end of the day, what am I even bothering myself for? Some of these things you just let it go. Like, it's not going to bother you at the end of the day.
Yeah. It's funny that you're mentioning that as something that you've experienced, because it happens more often than people know. It happens more often. Like, people lose their jobs, like not because they've done anything wrong, just because they're being targeted. Like, okay, you're not going to make it in this company. And I'm sure you've heard a lot about, this greater Toronto area, and, there are groups of people that only want their own countrymen in their organizations. And they do anything to make sure that even if you are more qualified, you have the qualification. See, I don't even want to get into the kind of things that people do. So racism is very, very much alive, and it's
It
not
is.
even
It is. It
from
is. It is.
Caucasians or anything. It's from many, many
Many
areas.
communities as well, different communities as well. Yeah, it
Yeah,
is. It is.
yeah. Okay, so Wolo, my last question before we get into the Q&A. What are your top tips for people that are saying, you know what, I think I'm ready to move to Canada. I want to go start a new life. I'm scared, but what do I have to do to succeed? What are your top tips for new immigrants?
Um, Number one, take it as an adventure, and just like, how will I put it now? For me, I had this mindset of whatever the worst will be, what will be the worst,
Hmm.
right? And coming from an organization that in fact, I was earning well. I was doing well where I was. My husband was doing well where he was. We were both doing well. For someone, if you fall into that category of someone who is already doing well back in Nigeria, and you're seeing this Canada thing as scary, you just have to tell yourself that the worst thing that can happen is not getting what you want. But if you're able to start from somewhere and build on what you already have, you'll be able to get to the point that you want to be. So um, don't be afraid. That's what I would say. Don't be afraid of taking the risk. I am absolute. I don't know the kind of risk I take. I don't think any other person wants to take that kind of risk. I'm a huge risk taker, and when I take the risk, I don't
Yeah,
look back. So
me
if you're
too.
not a risk taker, you just have to weigh your options very well
Hmm.
and have this confident mindset that you can succeed. Because if someone can succeed, someone else can succeed, you also can succeed as well. It might be bumpy. Of course, sometimes things don't go as planned because you plan one thing, you see other things happening in between. So just have this mindset that it's an adventure, it's a learning process. It's you learn from your experiences, you learn from your failures, you learn from whatever from if you don't get something, you learn from it. You learn from from people's experiences as well. So
Yeah.
have a strong mindset and a strong mental state, because the mental state is very, very, very important. And don't look down on yourself, don't look down on your abilities, except you're not confident of yourself. There are lots of people who are not confident, and Canada also has this way of intimidating confident people. You're confident, you know where you're coming from, you're confident of your abilities, and then you come here, you see lots of people who are also on the same level. You're competing against them. You're like, you start doubting yourself, you start doubting your confidence. So don't doubt your confidence at all. If you know something and you can deliver on it, go ahead and deliver on it. Another thing is being able to communicate, because lots of people don't know how to communicate. And then communicating in the language that they really want to hear. So even if you know something theoretically, you're able to communicate to the people listening to you in such a way that they know that you can deliver, is also good. But another angle of communicating is some people know how to communicate it, but they don't know how to deliver on the job.
Hmm.
They know how to talk, they know how to convince people, but when it comes to the job itself, the technical aspects of the job, they can't deliver on that. So that is more or less a conflict of what they were able to communicate during their interviews. So that's another tip there. The mental preparation aspect is very key, very, very key, because um, there are certain things that can depress someone, especially if you're not getting what you want. But if you take it as an adventure, if you take it as not if you take it as a ride, and you're not comparing yourself to another person, you're on your own journey, then I think everything should be fine. But if you see it as a competition, that, oh, Mr. Lagbaja has bought a house, Mr. Lagbaja has bought a 2021 Range Rover Jeep. If you put yourself in that competitive mode, then it's going to be a problem. So I personally, nobody can convince me. Like, you can't convince me otherwise. If I say this is what I want, if I want to live in a one room, you can't convince me to go and buy a 5-bedroom. because you're not the one giving me the money. So people should avoid competition and just focus on yourself and focus on your goal, and as in work towards achieving what you want to achieve. Another tip is, if someone is not sure of the career path they want to choose, they should look at what is currently in demand and should be able to pivot, should be able to change to what is in demand, because sometimes what you love might not pay the bills. That's the truth. In most cases, what we love to do will not always pay the bills. So you have to just look for something else that will pay the bills and switch to that thing. And which other tip again? I don't think I have any other tip.
What are your tips for because okay, so let me ask you first. What is the weather like in Manitoba? And this one I've been waiting to ask you because you people know.
Okay, so
yeah, I call Winnipeg winter peg.
Yeah,
that's what I know.
this
what is the weather like, and what are your tips for surviving the winter in Manitoba?
So funny enough, this year has been so good.
Yeah.
As in fantastically good weather-wise. We just had maybe 1 or 2 days of minus 27, minus 28 degrees. Yes.
wait. Yeah, when you were saying this year has been so good, I'm arguing because it's the same in Ontario. Like yesterday was probably the coldest day. I think we had minus 10 or something. So
if you're coming minus 10, please, minus 10 is by the wayside. Don't come minus 10 in Winnipeg. Minus 10. That's fall. That's autumn. Minus 10. No.
It's not in my head agreeing that this year has been good. Is it minus 20?
Yeah, we are talking about minus 35, minus 40, minus 50. Yes. Minus 35, minus 40, minus 50. And you will see people outside, outdoors. In fact, those days when I wasn't working from home and minus 40, minus 50, of course you have to layer like 10 sweaters if it's possible. And you look like a Dunlop tire. So what they used to tell us was, buy a winter jacket that is one size bigger than you if you're coming to Manitoba. Yes. So if you're a size 8, buy a size 9 winter jacket, because you have to layer up, especially if you're not going to be driving. If you're going to be taking the bus and you have to stand at the bus stop to wait for the bus, that means you have to buy a winter jacket that is one size bigger than you to accommodate the 3 or 4 sweaters or 5 sweaters you will wear inside. And if you're going to be trekking long distances under the winter, you have to use, what do you call it now, a nylon, a water bag, a nylon. You wear that one first before you wear your socks. Yes.
Wait, I didn't hear that one before. Which one?
Yeah, because it keeps your leg warm. It keeps your leg. If you're going to be walking long distances during winter and you don't have a car, or you're going to stand in the bus stop for 10, 15 minutes, you have to wear a nylon, a rubber bag. Yes. Wear a rubber bag first before you wear your thick socks and then wear your winter boots. Because the nylon is trapping the heat in your leg. Yeah. You have to wear that first. Yes.
So as you're walking, it's sounding chick.
Well, it will sound that way. It's just trapping the heat for your leg. It's making you feel warm in your leg, so you don't have to.
I've never heard that one before. I've never heard that one.
Those are one of the tricks, especially for those who don't have cars. But if you have a car, then you don't need to do all this heavy layering and all that. But if you don't have a car, you have to do it that way.
So in what you're trying to tell me now is that even in minus 50, they're not going to say, oh, everyone, weather warning, stay at home, no need to come to work today, no need to come to school today.
No, you will go to work. It's only when there's a snowstorm. If there's a snowstorm and the snowstorm has blocked everywhere, that is when they will say don't come to work. But minus 40, people go to work, people go to school. Minus 40, minus 50, you will go to work, you will go to school. You will do everything like the normal weather. It's just the weather. They will just warn you that this is minus extreme weather warning alert. They will just warn you. And then at that point, most of the cars, they get frozen. They don't even come on. You have to have what do you call it now? There's a name they call it. You use it to charge to kickstart your car.
All those wires.
It's not even wire. It's a battery booster. They call it battery booster. You have to use to boost your battery for your vehicle to come up.
Even if you parked in a garage.
If you park in a garage, that means your car is warm. But if you're parking outside, of course, even with your car plugged in, it will get frozen, as in it will not start. Yeah. With your vehicle plugged in, it will not start to get frozen. This happened in 2019. 2020 has been good. Today is -6. We are enjoying. This is not the Winnipeg I know. Winnipeg I know. Your car will be frozen. You yourself, you'll be frozen. Everything about you. Everything will be frozen. And it is so funny that you will still see people moving out under that extreme condition.
That's what I don't understand. Not that, okay, this weather is too extreme, make all of us stay for house. Because if you at least if you're inside, you don't care what is happening outside. You put on your heater. If you want, put small heater beside you on top. But the fact that you still have to go out, what is the transportation system like, especially the bus transit? What is it like in the winter? Does it get slow, or is it usually still on time?
Well, if there is a snowstorm, it gets slow. But of course, you will receive if there's what we call Navigo. It's an app that anybody who is living in Winnipeg, especially if you want to use the transportation system, you have to install that app to know the bus times. And Navigo. Yeah, Navigo. And if there's going to be a delay, you get a notification that there's going to be a delay of a bus. So if you're waiting, let's say for a bus 55, and you've stood at the bus stop for 5 minutes, you're not seeing it, you get a notification that bus 55 will be delayed for another 30 minutes or for another 1 hour. So that's where you get to know.
So do the buses have GPS for you to actually see, like, real time that, okay, this bus was supposed to come at 12 p.m., but now it's going to come exactly at 12:52?
Yes, you get that notification. Yeah.
Okay. I need to be real time.
So if they say 12:52, just give yourself either 5 minutes early or 5 minutes late, thereabouts.
Because if you miss that bus.
But another thing is, even if they are still going to delay again, they will still you will still get a notification that the bus is going to be delayed. But what the person has to do is to keep refreshing. Because if it gives you a notification this period and you don't refresh again to know the status, you might just be there waiting, not knowing that they have notified you that the bus will still be delayed for another 1 hour again or another 30 minutes again.
Yeah. And that's something that I like to talk about, because people don't know. Me, I suffered in Nova Scotia. There was no GPS on the buses at that time. I think now they have GPS, but in 2015 there was no GPS. You were gonna stand at the bus stop at the exact time that the bus normally comes. But now that there's snow, obviously it's going to be late. So I'm talking about 40 minutes, 15 minutes, just stand there,
and not
if you leave. Exactly, because if you leave, that's when the bus will now pass. But
they are supposed to have bus shelters, because we have bus shelters.
In some bus stops they have. In some bus stops, in Nova Scotia, in some bus stops they don't have. It's just the stand that is there to say that it's a bus stop, and there will be no shelter. Those ones that have shelter, at least you can stay behind the glass and the wind will not come, because the wind is the worst part. It's not even the snow or the cold. Like, there's the wind that comes towards you. So if the glass is there, at least it stops it, right? But back then there was no GPS. It was when I was living in Nova Scotia in, I think, 2017 that they now introduced GPS to the buses. I was not like, it's after I'm leaving. That wasn't a good experience for me at all. Okay, so now we have that out of the way. We've spoken about winter and everything. Let's start taking questions. So you guys drop your questions about Winnipeg, Manitoba. I'll drop this one. Let's see. Which province is easier to relocate to currently without a close relative via provincial nomination? This one is immigration question. Wolo is not free immigration advice.
Well, depends on your profile. I can't really give you a straightforward answer. Depends on your profile. What is your occupation? If I know your occupation, then I'll be able to answer that question.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. Let me look for questions. There are lots of comments, but I'm looking for questions about Manitoba. Okay, so in regards to jobs in Manitoba, are there opportunities for engineering and manufacturing?
Yes, there are.
Okay.
There are, but of course they have to, get their license as is it regulated engineer? What they call them
Yeah.
is it APEGA? There's a name they call them. So
Apega or something like
Apega, yeah. So they have to be licensed before they can get those good jobs. But there are jobs in engineering.
that. And
There are.
you guys, don't worry. I get a lot of questions about engineering and jobs here, getting licensed. I have a couple of engineers that I'm going to be bringing on to speak to us. It's just that everyone has busy schedules, right? So they're going to be coming on. Don't worry, they'll answer all your engineering
Then
questions.
another thing I want to mention is most engineers, especially if they don't want to go through the whole process of getting the engineering license, they pivot into supply chain management and manufacturing.
Right.
So they can
Right.
actually switch if they
Yeah.
don't want to go through the whole process.
Yeah, there are even lots of alternative careers
Yeah,
for engineers.
yeah.
Lots of them. Okay. So are there job opportunities, especially in the health services? Hmm.
Plenty,
Yeah.
plenty of
Everywhere
them.
in Canada, healthcare.
Healthcare is hot cake.
Yeah.
Healthcare is hot cake, yeah.
So next question: how did Wolo get a government job? Give us the tea.
You have to go through the process of writing different assessments, and then interviews, and then you get into the government. So it's a long process, though.
Yeah.
You write different assessments, you write different tests, you write lots and lots of things before
Yeah.
you get the job.
And yeah, lots of them. I've
And even
seen.
even when you're applying, the kind of answers you need to respond to when in their questions, as in the application process itself,
Hmm.
sending your resume itself is also another form of interview. So
Hmm.
they start with the application process itself.
Hmm.
They'll ask you lots of questions, scenario based questions, these behavioral based questions, and all that during the application process.
You guys, companies are not smiling, no. Especially like even apart from government jobs, government they have a lot of like tests, like she said. But even regular corporate organizations, by the time they knock you your assessment, memory retention test, this is like different kind of tests that you're just like, holy, do people pass this stuff? Do people pass these things? When you guys come, you understand what I'm saying. Most of the
Yeah.
organizations have very similar tests. So they're just very funny, not what we're used to in Nigeria. Someone
Mhm.
is asking how we service our cars. So I personally, um, I use a Honda, so I just go to Honda, and I usually find people who are looking for who have coupon codes. So there are some people that they'll give you a deal of $129 for maybe just $20 or $25. So there are people like that on different groups. I'll be like, oh, does anybody use a Honda in this area? Go to this specific office for this appointment, and you only need to pay $20. So that's how I service my car. What
Well,
about you, Lolo?
it's not the same for us in Manitoba. I service once in a while. Um, I think to change oil is almost like 100 or $150 to change the oil. To change your oil in your car. And of course, you cannot change the oil yourself, because if you litter where you're changing, especially if you're living in a communal place like, let's say, apartment block or townhouse, if you change it yourself and the oil spills, you don't know, your neighbor might go and report you.
Yeah, and
So,
even to dispose the oil
so
self.
you just respect yourself. Go take it to the garage. Some change for
100 and
some change for 50, depends. Some change for fifty
okay,
dollars.
okay,
Depends.
wait. Let's talk about cost of living in Manitoba. Let's talk. Obviously, me, I live in Ontario, so I don't feel laughing now.
No, but you,
But
you you talked about coupon now. You talk about coupon, but what? From,
yeah,
yeah, from what I'm talking about is based on my husband changing. I don't. Me, I've not got
yeah,
to change.
yeah.
But when he comes back, he tells me, okay, he spent $100 or he spent something dollars in changing oil, and then there are some other oils or whatever that they put in the car. So that's plus
So
that service
okay,
charge as well, plus service charge, plus taxes. So that brings up the price.
what's the tax like in Manitoba?
It's 12% on sales tax, which
Okay,
is
the
even lower
same.
than Ontario. Ontario is 13%.
No, isn't wait, are we 13%
Yes,
or
it's
12?
13%. Ontario is 13%.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's be the difference? 1%.
Well, at least it's still lower than Ontario.
Wait. Let's talk about cost of living. Let me remove
Okay,
this question
okay.
first. How do I remove it? Okay. Um, please, how much is a one-bedroom apartment? Okay, so let me just say, okay, most of the jobs are downtown, right?
Yeah, well, not really.
Eh,
Most,
you
yes, most, but not all.
okay, but like that's like the busy area where most of the offices
Offices
and all those
are,
kind of
yeah,
things.
yeah.
Yes, okay. So if someone wants to rent a place in that spot where they know that okay, I just landed, if I'm going to get a job, it will very likely be around this busy corporate area. If I want to get a job in the heart of downtown, first of all, is it advisable because of crime rate? And
Mm.
secondly, what would it cost me to get a one-bedroom apartment?
For me, I would say downtown should not be the area to live because
Hmm.
of the crime rate. Funny
Hmm.
enough, houses are cheap. To rent apartments, they are quite cheaper there, but you will not get the kind of good apartment you want. But
Okay.
there are places closer to downtown that one can rent. And if you want to rent a one bedroom in those areas, you should be budgeting, let's say, $800, 800 Canadian dollars for a one bedroom.
800.
Yeah, 800 Canadian.
That's not bad.
750
That's
$750 to 800 Canadian dollars.
750. That's actually even cheaper than Halifax, Nova Scotia.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. So what about a house? So I'm a family of five and
Mm,
we want a good area, oh, not downtown, no crime,
okay.
no like rich people area now, or like decent area. A three-bedroom house or four-bedroom house. How much should I be looking at?
1,600.
That's so cheap.
Yeah, it's very cheap. That's why we have more money in our pockets.
Hey God. Do you know that that's cheaper than my
It's
basement
so cheap.
apartment
It's so cheap.
that I lived?
Serious.
Yes, yes.
If you come to Winnipeg, you'll be
That's
living like
cheaper
a
than
queen. You live like a queen. That's for
oh
them
my God.
1,600. In fact, you get a three bed. If you want an apartment condo, a three bedroom, the highest you can pay is 1,004, 1,005.
Wow. What about a detached house?
A detached house, 1,617 thereabouts. Detached
Wow.
standalone house.
Well, the area I live now is not even Toronto anymore because for those of you watching right now, I've moved out of Toronto. But where I live right now, for a detached house, three-bedroom, you're looking at 2,000
No,
or 2,100.
that's too
So
expensive.
if that was supposed to be the GTA, then you're looking at way higher. Okay,
That's too
that's
expensive.
interesting. That's interesting. So what about your car insurance? You already know how much I pay for car insurance.
Okay.
No, no, don't laugh at me. Oh. You already
You're
know how
paying,
much
you're
I
paying
pay
so
for.
much money now. You guys are the rich guys in Toronto. We,
You
we we are the affordable ones. So for a vehicle insurance, I pay $160, and that's because of me. I've not been driving, but my husband pays $140.
Okay, 160, 140. Okay. That's
Mm.
actually very good.
Mhm.
That's actually very good. Okay, that's interesting
And
stuff.
if it is a new car, if it's a new, very new vehicle, like let's say very new vehicle, the person will be paying, let's say, $110 or $115.
Yeah.
It's a new car.
Yeah, that's one thing you guys need to note as well. Um, New cars have new like features, security
Features, yeah,
features, so you're less likely to have an accident in the eyes of the insurer. So it's usually cheaper.
yeah.
Someone has been asking question. In fact, let's just try to answer this question. Are people without siblings in Canada landing at this time?
Depends on if you're coming as a permanent resident or you're coming as a student. If you're coming
Mm-hmm.
as a permanent resident, yes. If you're coming as a student, yes. Other than that, if you don't have any sibling, you can't land in
Immediate
Canada.
family.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so that's answered. Please don't spam, I see your questions. Don't spam the comment section with your questions. Let me look for one. I'm
Without
not
support
sure.
from my school, I don't think so. You have to send
No,
your transcripts. So I don't think
exactly.
so.
Okay, so can I apply for PR after 1 year pre-nursing? Okay, that question you have to see Wolo in private. She offers immigration services, so you can have a chat with her. Okay, is there any other question about life in Manitoba, not immigration? Let me see. Okay, are there job opportunities for marine slash maritime workers in Canada and in which provinces?
For marine, I would say go to the Atlantic provinces, Nova Scotia, and then British Columbia as well. Nova Scotia, I won't say Newfoundland and Labrador, no, but Nova Scotia and BC, they have opportunities there for marine
Yeah,
maritime workers
yeah,
and that. Yeah,
yeah. There's a harbor in Halifax.
yeah.
Okay, next question. Are primary and secondary schools expensive in Manitoba compared to Ontario? The way it works here is that public school is free.
Mm-hmm,
So you're not paying school fees unless you want to go to private school. So if you want to
mm-hmm,
go to private school, I have a feeling that it's more expensive in Ontario because you're looking at 20,000, 18,000 per year. So
mm-hmm,
you don't have to go to a private school. Like there are different public schools that have different standards too. So depending on the city you live, depending on the area you live,
mm-hmm.
yeah. What do you think about the schools here, primary and secondary? Any thoughts?
The same thing. The same thing. Private schools are more expensive in Manitoba as well compared to public schools. So for public schools, I don't know. I think there was somebody that was saying that you can actually get schools for your kids if they are not in the same catchment area. So let's say somebody's living in Brampton and they want their child to go to a particular public school in Mississauga. It's possible. I don't know whether that's true.
Yeah, I think you just have to like provide a reasonable reason and like write a letter. That there's a process to it. But a lot of these schools still have their waiting times, especially daycares.
Okay.
Many of them are full, so it really
Okay.
depends.
It's
Someone
not
is asking.
it's not the same for Manitoba anyway. You cannot live in one part of Winnipeg and be asking for a school in another part of
Mm,
Winnipeg. Yeah, it's not possible.
it's not something that's common, but there are some situations where some parents just need that, so they're able to actually do it. Someone is asking, do you advise newcomers to buy a car when they land to avoid winter in bus stop? If you've been watching my videos,
So
oh,
so let me
hmm, hmm.
let
If
me
you've been watching my videos, buy a car. Even if it's a $2,000 car, $3,000 car, buy a car. You cannot come and
you
die. But let's hear from you.
you don't see let me just say this experience. When we came, we didn't want to buy a car. You don't you, when I hosted you on my own life, you said you are frugal. You and my husband, you fall into that same category of frugal. Like that, my husband is like that. But me, I'm not. I'm like I like to spend. I like
Frugal
so
lifestyle.
the plan was we will not buy a car because we didn't see the need for buying a car. But when winter came, and my husband was stuck outside in minus 35,
Hmm.
and there was no bus. I said nobody told us. Nobody told us to
Hmm.
quickly buy a car. It's not as if the body was not there. The body was there, but we're like, we can wing it. We can wing the winter. But when winter
Hmm.
came, minus 35 outside, 1 a.m. in the night. That day I didn't
Hmm.
sleep. Oh, I said no, 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 no. I can't take that risk. Let's go and buy a car before somebody come and die and say you're keeping $5,000 inside the account because you don't want to buy a car.
Do you know something, eh? Because you just mentioned the time. The time matters, though. You see, so I posted the weather forecast on Twitter one time, and someone said, Winnipeg, what is minus 20 and sunny? Which kind of fake sun? That sun, is very important, oh. Minus 35 during the day when it's sunny. is different from minus 35 at night. Oh.
Exactly.
Hey.
Exactly. That's the truth.
Is I cannot overemphasize this enough.
It's
At least
true.
if there's sun, you can be walking under the sun.
It
It
does.
makes a big difference. Oh.
It does.
Once the sun goes,
It does. At night, minus 35 at night, and then with wind chill, they'll tell you with wind chill minus 42. And then your brain is freezing, your leg is freezing, your hand is
everything
freezing,
is freezing.
everything is freezing, you're
Your
shaking.
nose is running. Your tears are even coming down your eyes.
You're shaking, and you're looking at the time. You cannot even look at your phone to know when the bus will land. You're
Which kind of phone?
no.
You cannot even remove your hand from your pocket with your gloves.
Exactly.
So you want look.
No. You don't want to experience it. You don't want to experience it. It's a horrible one. So
Yeah.
please buy a car. If you're coming to Winnipeg, just plan for your car.
So you accept the name.
Yeah, that's the name now. Winnipeg. It's Winnipeg, we call it.
Yeah, now that's good.
So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So for someone that's looking for a car now, I mean, when I was in Nova Scotia, I just went to one car dealership after my first winter because when I was taking my masters, my classes were at night. So
Okay.
sometimes I'm finishing class at 10 p.m. And then I'm just walking home or trying to get the bus home. So after my first winter, I said, never again will any winter catch me in Canada without a car. I bought a car before I even collected driver's license. I bought the car in faith. I did not have my full driver's license before I bought a car. I said, I will buy it and then I will now make sure that I pass. So I just bought it and kept the car there.
Yeah.
And then I started doing road tests and all of that. Okay. So somebody is asking if you recommend studying in Brandon. I know there's a university
I
that
do.
is pretty affordable.
Yes, I do recommend if you want to study in Brandon, study in Brandon. You have especially if you're looking at healthcare and let's say agriculture. Yeah, Brandon is known for healthcare and agriculture. They have the number one university that caters to psychiatric nursing.
Wow, nice.
Yeah, so if you're looking at that area, then Brandon is good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So question, are jobs for bilinguals easily available in Manitoba, and what are the in-demand jobs?
They are highly available. Like if you have lots of opportunities that are unilingual, you have double opportunities that are bilingual.
Yeah. And you get paid even more.
Yeah. So there are lots of them that are available, and they're always looking for people to fill up those positions. So if you're bilingual, Manitoba is a good place to come to.
Yeah. Okay. Someone is asking if Winnipeg is gay friendly.
Well, they do have their gay parade pride. Yes, they are. You find lots of them. So I think generally in Canada they are gay friendly.
Exactly.
Whatever orientation you belong to, you always find your group in
exactly.
Yeah, so they're everywhere, and you have a lot of support from them.
Yeah, makes sense. What happens if you get late to work because of bus delay?
Well, that except the delay is a general one. Everybody's going to get into work at the same time late. Then yes, it's acceptable. But only you getting to work late because of delay is not acceptable.
Especially multiple times.
Exactly, it's not acceptable
because not only you work come, everybody did the same situation. So you can't be giving the excuse all the time.
Yeah,
you know, like in Ontario, it happens quite a lot in the GTA where most of the people working in Toronto, they're using trains, public transit to get to downtown Toronto for work. So sometimes when there are heavy snowstorms, there would be delays with the trains, but it's okay because everybody will be late together. So, but if it's just you all the time, then that's a problem.
Yeah.
Okay, someone said, do we get license before coming or after we come? You have to get your license when you land, but at the same time, you want to make sure that you come with your valid Nigerian driver's license and FRSC extract. Does it matter for you guys, FRSC extract?
Some people say it does, but I've not seen where it made any impact. Maybe just $5 difference $5.
Oh, okay. For Ontario, the FRSC extract helps you skip some steps in
Mm,
getting your full license. Yes, so you can skip some because it's basically saying you have driving history and blah blah blah. So it helps you in Ontario. So if you're coming to Ontario and you want to get your license on time, your full license, make sure you get the FRSC extract, and it's not expensive. Don't let anybody scam you. Okay,
okay,
I think it's even supposed to be free, but some people will charge you, a few thousand naira
to get it.
for the FRSC extract.
Well,
Okay. I know Wolo has to go very soon. So let me just see what other question we can answer. Is French language a plus in Manitoba?
it is. It is a
Wolo,
plus
should I
in
expose
Canada.
you?
It is. It's a plus
Should
anywhere in Canada.
should I expose you?
No, they already know. Some people know. So
Okay.
you want to expose me? Go ahead and expose me, but some people already
Wolo,
know.
Wolo is a French queen. The day I heard her speaking French, I was like, eh, Wolo, you can speak French. She's so good at French. I'm like, wow, that is amazing. See, French will always be a plus, no matter where in
Yeah,
Canada.
it
Even
is.
if you're not in Quebec, it will always be a plus. You're going to get paid more for the same job than somebody that speaks only English.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely a good one. Someone is asking, do they consider age for government jobs?
No,
Legally in Canada, nobody is allowed to discriminate
I guess it's age. Yeah.
um, against you for your age.
Mhm.
Does it happen? Yes, in general with employers, but legally, if you even sense that and you have proof, you can actually sue. Nobody is allowed to discriminate against you for your age, your gender, all
It
of that.
doesn't happen for government jobs, though.
Those things
For
won't even be
government
on your
jobs, it doesn't
resume.
happen. Yeah.
Yeah, those things won't even be on your resume. You see people that are really, really, really elderly
Mm.
that are working and they're doing their jobs and they're
Yeah.
okay. All right. I think we are done. Okay, let me just take this last one. What is the availability of accounting and finance jobs in Winnipeg?
There are lots of them. There are lots of finance and accounting jobs, especially if you're working towards getting your CPA. So if the person is working towards getting a CPA, then they'll kind of get a job easily. But there are lots of them. It's dependent on you on how you are able to present yourself during interviews, how you're able to
Mhm.
convince the employer that you are the best fit for the organization. So employers don't just only look at your qualifications; they look at your cultural attitude. They will assess you and see if you're going to be a best fit in the organization or not. So those are the things they assess during interviews. And there are jobs. There are generally jobs. Accounting, yes, you can easily get a job as an accountant. Not as an accountant, though, maybe as an accounting assistant or something related. Once you get your CPA, then the doors open for you more in terms of different aspects of accounting, auditing, investment or whatever. I'm saying investment. I don't know whether it's investment. Auditing, there's another name they call another aspect of accounting, though. So the doors open for you more
Yeah.
uh, as an accountant.
It's an in-demand job, and there are a lot of alternative career paths
Yeah.
for that. Well, we still have 10 minutes, Abby.
Yes, yes.
Okay, quick one. What's the monthly upkeep like in Manitoba for a family of four?
For a family of four, depends on how you spend your money. But the good thing is that the government has what you call Manitoba Rent Assist to assist newcomers and people who have low income in paying half of their rent. So if you have a yes, so
That's really good.
yeah. So if they have the Manitoba Rent Assist and which pays as much as $800 for rent, is for some people they get as much as $800. Some people get $500.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
What
let's say
sorry, what about daycare? Is there daycare subsidy?
yes, there's daycare subsidy. It's
Okay.
highly subsidized. And
Okay.
Manitoba is the second most affordable province for daycare.
Okay.
Highly subsidized.
So how do people get that rental assist? Where do they have to go?
They just have to apply once they land and maybe they've not gotten a job yet. They apply for their GST. With their GST notice of assessment from the CRA, then they will apply to the government of Manitoba for a rental assistance. And then the government starts depositing the money every month to their accounts to supplement their rent.
Okay.
So,
Marina is asking, can you talk about recreation? What do people do for fun in Manitoba?
okay, for fun, we go tobogganing. There's what
What is that?
toboggan.
Please
Okay,
explain.
tobogganing is during winter. People there's something like it's, how will I call it now? It has a very smooth surface. People buy it. It's a plastic. They buy it and then you sit on it and then ride on it. You go to the top of the snow heap and then slide down. So that's tobogganing.
Please, for us Nigerians, Africans, what are the things we can do? Are there like African restaurants and
Yes, you have lots of African restaurants, lots and lots of them.
okay.
Yeah, lots,
Anything else? Like
lots and
anything
lots
else?
of African restaurants. You can even find them on Skip the Dishes and DoorDash if you want an African
Okay.
food. Yeah, there are
Okay.
lots of them.
Okay.
And then apart from tobogganing, there is also hockey. Though people play hockey. If you want your kids to play hockey, people go watch hockey. Soccer as well. People play soccer. People who have families, they allow their children play soccer and join clubs in soccer. I have a family friend whose son is playing. He plays in a league, and that league has been able to take him around Canada, even outside Canada, to go and play soccer.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's
but
really
you have to be dedicated. If your child is a sports person, you have to be dedicated and create time for that.
yeah.
There's one place we call Tinker Town. It's more like small. I won't call it Disney. Disney is a big one. Where people go to have fun there. They call it Tinker Town. People go there with their kids during weekends, and you pay to go in there. Then during summer, people go for what do you call it now? Camping. People go for camping. So there's a space. People just go there, build their tent, and sleep outside.
Are there bears in Manitoba?
Yes, there's beds. There's even a park for beds where you can go.
No, I mean bears. All these polar bears.
Yeah, polar bear. Yes, we have polar bears. We also have Assiniboine Zoo in Winnipeg. I think I need to go to the Assiniboine Zoo. I'll go there where you see polar bears. You have coyotes and bears walking. There are some communities. Yeah. There's a community I lived in. I like to explore. I'm adventurous and I like to explore. There was one community I lived in, and that community is a very small community of 2,000 people, predominantly Caucasians in that community. And you see bears walking around in that community.
No way.
You see bears walking around. And then once they spot the bears, they'll we have a Facebook group in that community to notify everybody of what's happening in town. So anybody that spots a bear will say, there's a bear in so street. Please, if your kids are playing outside, go and take your kids outside,
Hey God.
The things that attract the bears are actually deaths and maybe fish and whatever. So they just come to look for food. They come to look for food and all that.
So just let them go. You don't call anybody to come and say.
Sometimes they call the animal response, whatever, to come and pick them up. So you have bears walking around. Not in Winnipeg. I'm talking about smaller communities outside Winnipeg because I've lived in one and I've been able to experience that. So that's what I'm saying. It's outside Winnipeg, not in Winnipeg. Winnipeg is a city. Well, communities outside Winnipeg, yes. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Yes, they fear me, I beg. Someone is asking for supply chain jobs in Manitoba. I'm sure there are.
Yeah, there are good supply chain jobs, and they even pay as much as $80,000 to $100,000 if you have the supply chain designation.
Okay,
you can get good jobs there.
Okay, someone is asking how we make our hair and how much it costs.
Well, okay, so you can actually look for someone to make your hair through Kijiji at a cheaper price. If you want to braid your hair, you can braid your hair for, let's say, $60 or $70 to braid your hair. There are salons everywhere. There are even one of the biggest salon. One of the biggest salon is owned by a Nigerian.
Hmm.
Lola Hair, yeah. I think established almost 15, 20 years ago. You know,
Okay.
yeah.
Wow,
So
that's a long
you
time.
have lots of salons, Nigerian salons, African salons managed by Eritreans, Somalians, and all that. You have Eritrean community, Somalian community. You have lots of them in Winnipeg
Wow,
as well. Yeah.
nice. We have that a lot in Toronto too. We have lots
Okay.
of
And
people.
Jamaican community as well. Jamaica.
Yeah, yeah.
Jamaica.
Okay, that's interesting. So you actually do have, black people in
Yeah.
like a good size.
Yeah, a good size of Jamaicans, Eritreans, and Nigerians. I think Nigerians are more or less becoming more popular than other communities now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Somebody asked about the rent that we've quoted, that all these prices, are they per month? Car insurance, rent, everything is per month.
Everything is per month. Are you? Everything in Canada
I
is per month.
I get this question a lot because I've been doing some videos regarding rentals and things like that.
Mhm.
When I say $1,800 rent, it cannot possibly be per year. Like, it cannot possibly be per year. It's per
It's per
month.
month.
You're going
Yeah.
to sign a 1 year lease most of the time. Typically, if it's not a short-term rental, you sign a 1 year lease. So
Mhm.
that amount is fixed. It's not going to change for that 1 year period, but you pay your rent monthly.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys, I have to let Wolo go. I know she's very, very busy. So thank you very, very much for gracing our channel. You guys, give Wolo a big round of applause for
No,
answering all the questions.
We'll give Feyi a big round of applause because she's been the first person. I've never done this before with anybody. Like, as
Uh,
in asking me questions, I've never done it. So
I'm honored to be the
I'm
first.
happy that, yes, I'm happy that I did this. So that at least people get to know me more compared to me just dishing out only information on immigration. At least I talked about a bit about myself. I rarely do that. Rarely do that. So I've been able to do that now, which is a good
Thank you.
one.
Thank you for doing that on our channel first. So I'm very happy and I'm very appreciative of that. Thank you. You guys, thank Wolo in the comments for me. Thank you
Yes,
so much. I know
so
you have to run. But thanks a lot again for coming on. I know you're a very busy woman. I'll let you go. But you guys, thanks for tuning in. Remember to give this video a thumbs up. I hope we answered most of your questions. Go ahead and follow Wolo. I know you already subscribed to the
I'm
channel.
seeing Marina's comments. Marina, I'm waiting for you too. I'm waiting
So
for you too,
yes.
Marina.
So yeah, just make sure you go subscribe to our channel, Canada Info Hub. Lots of good information on there. She breaks everything down for you, and she's fantastic. So thank you so much again, Wolo,
Thank
and
you.
you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.